Alright, hey everybody, and welcome to another DVD review. This is the DVD review of the Space Museum. So obviously pointing out, well, what is the obvious? Maureen O'Brien's signature is on my copy, so no need to brag. But yes, believe it or not, this is one of my favourite Hartnells. It's an unpopular opinion, as far as I'm aware, but I'm a fan of it, and I'm happy to do the review of this story for you guys. So without further ado, let's begin. So starting with obviously the cover, we have the signature, and then to the right of it we have the Doctor Who logo, and then we have Space Museum underneath. We have the picture with the TARDIS in the background, the first Doctor, and then these two chaps, and underneath that we have William Hartnell years on there. So looking on the spine, we have the Doctor Who logo, then William Hartnell's face, Space Museum, and then the To Entertain logo. So on the back you can pause and read anything if you want to, but yes, let's get into that. We have a row of pictures at the top. We have the Doctor Who logo starring William Hartnell. Underneath you have Space Museum, and then information about the story, information about the special features, and then information about, you know, legal stuff. So going on to the interior, we have the disc, which is a similar theme of layout as the cover art is, and then on the other side we have the leaflet. So let's get into the leaflet. So you can pause and read if you want to, because yes, that's more information about stuff and things. So yeah, moving down inside you can pause and read anything if you're interested. It's about special features here again, and then on the back we have the chapter points. So yes, let's just move on and do the review of the story of the Space Museum. So let's just get this off my chest. It is an underrated guilty pleasure of mine. There you go, I've said it. It is very, very good. I am a big fan of it. So yeah, so I love the time paradox stuff. It has a lot of depth to the story, like unlike other stories have. Especially in it's impressive to see that sort of stuff in the Hartnell era, because thinking of really, really convoluted stories. It's not that convoluted like Stephen Moffat's stuff, but it's advanced. It's ahead of its time for writing wise. It's very good. I do have to praise this story on that. It's ahead of its time. I think it's very good in that way. And yes, it's an original concept. That's another thing. Like at the time, it was so original. Like having the idea of the Doctor and his companions finding themselves in an exhibit, and they have to rewrite history to try and avoid their fate. Like that's an original idea. Like for this story, that's the first time it has been done, I think, ever. I've got to praise this story on that. To be honest, I really do. The planet Zeros is interesting, I guess. I mean, it kind of goes in depth of what happens, what the planet's gone through. But I like the idea of a museum full of alien artifacts. I like the idea of that. It's very interesting. It's very unique in its own way. Very good, very, very good. The first cliffhanger really caught me off guard as well. You know, obviously it's being the Doctor and his companions finding themselves as an exhibit. But yeah, that's a really good cliffhanger actually. One of the most iconic cliffhangers of Doctor Who, I think. One of the most iconic of the Hartnell era, definitely, I hope. But yeah, I think, like I said, it's a very in-depth story, and I like the idea of the planet Zeros and what's going on, like there being rivalry between these two people, and the Doctor and his companions being dragged into it because of the museum. You know, I like that, and I like that the story revolves around the museum near enough. So yeah, I like that. One thing I do have to say though, which isn't as good for the story, the atmosphere is inconsistent, because episode 1, it starts off being this really creepy like area, like it's abandoned, it feels like, and the Doctor and his companions are walking through for a maze, which is a museum, and it's creepy and they don't know what to expect, and it's really cool, you know, really cool. And yes, and then yeah, it turns from a really creepy atmosphere to just it just turns into, I don't know, just a playing field where all of these different factions are running around avoiding each other, and the Doctor and his commander being dragged into their fight, into their arguments. You know, it's just it goes away quite easily. You know, which is a shame. Like, it's inconsistent, is what I have to say about the atmosphere. But, you know, I think it's very good, and I do love. I think Hartnell enjoyed filming this one, because I can see who doesn't love the bit where you know if you know what I'm talking about, the bit with the Dalek. You know what I'm talking. If you watch this story, you know what I'm talking about Hartnell and the Dalek exhibit. So yes. Very good, and I love how he's being interrogated as well. It's very funny. I do love that, how the Doctor is making him look like a fool. I really do like. You know, it's very good story, good balance from humour and you know, obviously gravitas. But yeah, yeah. So you know, I mean, the atmosphere, yeah, again, it's just a playing field where all the characters are bouncing around all over the place, avoiding each other, like I said. But you know, apart from that, it's a solid story. It's just the atmosphere which is a bit iffy. But yeah, I think the side cast, yeah, I do have to say they're a tad forgettable. I can't even remember the species name or the faction name that these two guys have, to be honest. I just know that these guys work in the museum and these guys are revolting against it, you know. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, overall, part one is an atmospheric, you know, opening with a mysterious aspect to it, making the museum seem really mysterious, like it's unknown what it is. Yeah, obviously part two is a bit weak. It's just a sudden change in tone when all these other characters come into play. But yeah, part three, I think once they found its footing, you know, and the atmosphere is suddenly juxtaposed to, you know, this really you know, frantic like theme going on. But apart from that, yeah, I think part three has a good flowing story from part two, to be honest. Once the plot had really like found its foundation, I think part three really does follow through with that. And then part four, I wouldn't say it's underwhelming. Actually, I wouldn't say it's underwhelming, but it isn't anything magnificent of a finale of this story. You know, nothing magnificent, but there isn't anything wrong with it, if you know what I mean. So, you know, overall, I have to give this story. I was dwindling between an 8 or a 9 out of 10, so I had to say 8.5 out of 10. So there you go. This story gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me. And it's quite enjoyable, actually. I do really. It's one of these stories that I pick up and watch on a day that's getting me down. I sometimes pick it up and it does cheer me up, you know. It's just one of those stories, you know. So now that this episode has been reviewed, we can obviously move on to other reviews. Obviously, we can rip up this piece of paper as we always do. So yes, and now we shall pick out the next Doctor Who story to be reviewed. This is the Bowl of Doom. Say hello. Yeah, so I'm just going to pull out the next story to be reviewed. Yeah, so I've got one. And it is... Ooh, okay. Next one we're reviewing, a real favourite of mine actually, is The Curse of Fenric. Yes. Oh, I'm really looking forward to reviewing this one. Yeah, baby. But sadly, to replace The Curse of Fenric, because we need to replace a story with another to go in the Bowl of Doom. So annoying. A certain someone picked this out for me. What is replacing The Curse of Fenric in the Bowl of Doom? The Underwater Menace. Those of you who know me well enough, I hate this story so bloody much. But anyway, that's in the Bowl of Doom. Let's pray to God that I'll never review it. I hope that it'll be the last one to review and I can just throw it away and never review it. Damn. Anyway, yeah, so next up is the review of The Curse of Fenric. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And, yes. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the DVD review of the Space Museum. So yes, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.